Do you know that sometimes, the harder you chase your desires, the more they seem to slip through your fingers? It's a paradox many of us have experienced. We push, we strain, and we force, hoping to finally grab hold of that dream job, relationship, or financial breakthrough. Yet, according to Neville Goddard, the key to manifesting is often the exact opposite. Instead of trying so hard, learn to detach and watch your vision naturally unfold. In this revealing video, we'll explore why surrendering can be the fastest route to getting everything you want. Sound counterintuitive? Stick around until the end, and you'll discover how to shift your mindset from frantic pursuit to peaceful reception. If you're tired of endless striving and are ready to embrace a more effortless path, then you're exactly where you need to be right now. Let's dive into this transformative idea, starting now. Let's begin. When it comes to manifesting the life you want, Neville Goddard often talks about releasing that sense of effort or striving. It's an interesting idea because, in today's world, we're conditioned to think that everything we want requires a constant push. We're taught that success comes only from working harder, hustling nonstop, and forcing things to happen. But Goddard flips that notion on its head by saying that the key to manifesting is actually to stop trying so hard. Think about it for a second. When you're too focused on striving, there's this subtle tension that builds up in your body. It's like you're constantly chasing after something, as if it's out of reach. You're not allowing yourself to truly be in the state of having it already. Instead, you're stuck in the mentality of I need this, I want this, and that craving only keeps it at a distance. The universe, or whatever you believe in, doesn't respond well to that energy. It senses the effort, the desperation, and it mirrors that back to you. So what do? You stop trying. Let's explore what releasing effort really means. It's not about giving up or resigning yourself to inaction. It's about recognizing that the more you try to force something, the more you're actually telling yourself that you don't have it yet. Striving is like an unconscious affirmation of lack. It's like you're saying, I'm missing something, and I need to get it. But Goddard's message is simple. If you truly understood that everything you desire is already available to you, you wouldn't have to fight for it. You'd align with the idea of already possessing it. Imagine you're at a buffet. If you believe there's plenty for everyone, you'd walk up, take what you want, and feel confident there's more than enough for others too. You wouldn't be fighting for space. You wouldn't feel rushed or panicked about someone else taking the last serving. It's the same with your desires. When you trust that it's already yours, you can let go of the effort. You're not scrambling to make something happen because you already know it's coming to you. This is where the magic lies in Neville's teachings. He's not just talking about positive thinking. He's talking about embodying the feeling of already having what you want. And in that state, effort isn't even necessary. In fact, it's counterproductive. You don't need to work harder to make it happen. You need to surrender and allow it to unfold naturally. When you release effort, you're creating space for things to flow without resistance. Now, it's important to note that releasing effort doesn't mean you stop taking action altogether. You might still be inspired to act, but the difference is that the action you take comes from a place of alignment, not desperation. It's not coming from a place of feeling like you have to do it to make things happen. It's coming from a deeper knowing that the result is already on its way. There's a subtle, but powerful shift that happens when you let go of striving. It's like you're no longer running after something. Instead, you're walking side by side with it, as if it's already there with you. And when you reach that point, things begin to move faster than you ever imagined. You stop fighting against the current, and instead, you start flowing with it. So, take a moment to ask yourself, are you too caught up in trying? Are you putting in too much effort to the point that it's draining your energy and keeping you from experiencing the fullness of what you want? If you can take a step back and just be, you might be surprised at how effortlessly things begin to come together. It's about trusting that you don't need to hustle your way to everything. Sometimes, the best thing you can do is simply release the need to try so hard and let the universe take care of the rest. When you stop trying to get it, that's when you'll find that you already have it. Alright, let's dive into this idea of assuming the state of already having what you desire. It's a concept Neville Goddard pushes hard in his teachings. It sounds simple, but it's actually one of the most profound shifts you can make in how you think and approach life. At the core of Neville's philosophy is the idea that you don't need to chase after what you want. Instead, you shift into a mindset where you already are what you seek. This isn't about pretending or acting as though things are perfect when they're not. It's deeper. It's about truly embodying the feeling of having your desire in your present reality. What does that feel like? How would you act? What would change about your daily life if that desire was already yours? Here's the trick: if you can embody that feeling, you are no longer in a state of lack. You're not coming from a place of needing something, you're living as if it's already there. That shift in mindset, that assumption, is where everything begins to change. Think about it this way: when you're constantly trying to get something, it's like you're always reaching for it. Your focus is on the absence of what you want. And the more you focus on the absence, the more you reinforce that it's not here yet. It's like digging a hole and wondering why you're still stuck in it. But when you assume you already have what you desire, you stop the chase. You stop running after it. You settle into the feeling of satisfaction, of already being complete. Imagine that you're already living the life you want. What's different? Is it a feeling of peace, joy, excitement? Is it a confidence that radiates from you? The key isn't in trying to get those feelings, it's in assuming you already have them. Your thoughts and emotions become a reflection of the life you're assuming. You start living from a place of having rather than a place of longing. Now, I'm not saying it's always easy. In fact, it can feel like a complete reversal of what you've been taught. We're raised in a world where we're told that effort equals results. Work harder, chase more, do this and that to get what you want. But with Neville's idea, it's almost the opposite. It's about ceasing the pursuit and just sinking into the state of already being. This requires faith in a sense, but not blind faith, more like an inner knowing that the state you've assumed is the reality you're moving toward. If you think of the state of having, it's like shifting into a higher version of yourself. It's not about forcing things to happen. It's about aligning your inner world with the outer world, but in reverse. Instead of waiting for something to happen before you feel good, you begin by feeling good, and that's what draws the experiences you want into your life. The beauty of this practice is that it brings power back to you. You are no longer at the mercy of external circumstances. The world around you is simply a reflection of your inner state. When you assume the state of having your desire, your reality starts to reshape itself around that assumption. Your actions, energy, and even the way people respond to you shift. This isn't just wishful thinking either. It's not about pretending you've got everything you want and then sitting back and waiting for magic to happen. It's about a mental and emotional transformation, a reprogramming of how you relate to what's happening inside and around you. Once you genuinely feel the state of having, you align with that vibration, and that's what brings the world you want into focus. It's about changing the frequency you operate on. When you live as if what you desire is already yours, you vibrate at that level. The universe responds to that frequency and matches it with the circumstances and people who mirror that state. So, the bottom line? Stop trying to get it. Assume you already have it. Live as though you're already in that state, and watch how things begin to shift. The game changes when you stop chasing and start embodying. It's that simple and that powerful. When Neville Goddard talks about dwelling consistently in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, he's not just asking you to think about it now and then or to imagine it briefly before moving on to the next thing. It's not like casually dreaming about something while you're stuck in traffic or during a quiet moment before bed. No, he's urging you to create a state of mind where you live in that feeling. You begin to embody the emotional experience of your desire as if it's already real, right now. The key here is to really sink into that feeling and let it consume you, so much so that you start to forget the physical world around you. You want to feel the joy, the satisfaction, the peace that would come from having what you've longed for. Forget the how. Neville is clear, this isn't about figuring out the logistics of how things will unfold. It's about believing, with every fiber of your being, that the desire is already a part of you, that it's already done. But how do you even begin to do this? It's about taking that mental state and making it your new reality. You dwell in it. You let it be the first thing you think of in the morning and the last thing on your mind before you fall asleep. It's not an isolated moment of feeling good, it's about building a habitual state of awareness where you are grounded in the experience of your wish fulfilled all day long. And, as you start to feel this shift, it may be a bit strange at first. It's normal to feel a bit of resistance because you've probably been taught to look outside yourself for what you want. Society tells us to work hard for it, to chase it, to plan it out. But what Neville points to is the opposite. The moment you stop chasing and just feel it, you stop being at odds with the universe and allow things to move in your favor. You give up the struggle, and that's when it all starts to shift. Think about it like this. We've all had moments where we were totally immersed in something, whether it was a hobby, a creative project, or even a conversation. In those moments, time kind of melts away, right? You're so absorbed in what you're doing that everything else becomes background noise. Well, Neville suggests you do that with your desire. You immerse yourself in the feeling of it, as if it's already part of your life. You focus on it so deeply that there's no space left for doubt or impatience. This is the part that makes all the difference. It's about retraining your brain to believe that the fulfillment of your desire isn't coming in the future. No, it's already present, just hidden beneath the surface of your current reality. When you dwell in the feeling of it, you begin to align with it. Your thoughts, your emotions, your energy all begin to match the vibration of what you want to manifest. This doesn't mean you stop working toward your goals. Far from it. But the work you do after entering this state is no longer a desperate hustle, it's more like an inspired action that feels effortless. You stop doing things because you should, and you start doing them because it feels right. You're not acting from a place of lack, but from a place of having. And that's a completely different energy. If you start to make this a consistent practice, your external reality will shift. You won't need to force things into place. Instead, you'll notice that doors begin to open, opportunities fall into your lap, and things just seem to align with you. But all of that starts with the emotional state of having, rather than wanting. You stop trying to get it because you realize it's already yours. To make this even clearer, think of it like planting a seed. You don't dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You trust that with proper care, it will sprout and bloom in its own time. The feeling of your wish fulfilled is like watering that seed. It's the nurturing energy that allows everything to grow, even when you can't yet see it with your physical eyes. So dwell in that feeling, consistently and with full belief, and watch how your world starts to transform. When Neville Goddard says, "Stop trying to get it and you'll have it," he's challenging us to trust in something profound, that what we claim inwardly must, without fail, manifest externally. It's a radical thought, isn't it? The idea that the world outside of us is simply a reflection of what's happening inside of us. That's exactly what Goddard teaches, that your inner world holds the key to your external reality. But let's unpack this a little. Most of us are used to thinking that we need to act, struggle, or push our way into manifesting what we want. It's almost like we believe we have to force the universe to give us what we desire. But Goddard flips this upside down. He says, what you claim inwardly must manifest outwardly. And by claim, he doesn't mean a simple wish or a fleeting thought. He's talking about a deep, rooted belief that what you desire is already yours, that it's already been fulfilled within you. Here's the tricky part. we often don't really believe that what we imagine inside will show up on the outside. It's like we're constantly doubting ourselves, second-guessing our thoughts. And that doubt? It creates resistance, blocking the natural flow of manifestation. Goddard teaches us that if we can only trust in the power of our own inner claims, the universe has no choice but to reflect that back in the physical world. It's like planting a seed and trusting it will grow, even though we can't see the roots beneath the soil. But how do we trust something we can't see? That's the challenge. It's easy to believe in what we can touch, taste, or feel. But what about belief in things unseen? This is where the real work lies. To trust that your inner claims, your thoughts, your beliefs, your feelings, are powerful enough to shift your reality requires a leap of faith. It's about aligning with the certainty that if you can claim it within, it must appear in your external world, even if it takes time. Think about it like this: every desire, every goal you have, begins as a thought. And those thoughts are powerful. The universe doesn't distinguish between positive or negative thoughts. It simply responds to what you claim. If you claim abundance, joy, and success within, the outer world must eventually conform to that. It might not happen instantly, and it might take some patience, but rest assured that the law of manifestation is in motion the moment you claim what you want as already yours. And that's the thing, claiming what you want doesn't mean begging or pleading for it. It's about firmly deciding in your heart that it's already yours. When you truly feel and believe that something is yours, you don't need to convince anyone or prove anything. It's already done in your inner world. Once you claim something inwardly, the external world starts moving to align with your internal state. That's how powerful you are. There's another layer to this idea. It's about knowing that the external world isn't separate from your inner world. It's not some random, disconnected thing that you need to manipulate. The world around you is like a mirror, reflecting your innermost beliefs, thoughts, and emotions. When you change within, your reflection changes too. So, the real question is, are you ready to fully trust in your inner claims? Think about the confidence you have when you truly believe in something. It's almost like you already see the end result, even before it manifests. That's the kind of trust Goddard talks about. It's not about hoping it'll happen, it's about knowing it will. The more you trust that your inner world creates your outer world, the less effort you need to put into forcing things to happen. In the end, it all comes down to this: trust. Trust that what you claim inwardly must manifest externally. Trust that your inner claims are the blueprint for your life. And trust that the universe is already responding to what you believe to be true. It's a shift from struggling to create change, to simply allowing the change that's already underway to unfold. Alright, let's get into this idea of stopping the search for results and instead, resting in the certainty that everything you desire is already done. It sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? We're often taught to be on the lookout, to keep an eye out for progress, and to constantly check if things are moving in our direction. But Neville Goddard's teachings flip that entire script. His approach invites you to release the frantic searching and to rest in the knowing that what you've asked for is already yours, it's already done. When you're constantly looking for results, what are you really doing? You're affirming that something is missing. You're signaling to yourself that you're not yet where you want to be, which only reinforces the feeling of lack. Think about how exhausting that is. Every time you look for a sign, every time you check for evidence, you're essentially sending out a message that says, "I don't have it yet." The energy spent in waiting, in doubting, in searching, it pulls you further from the peace of knowing that what you want is already in motion. Instead, Neville suggests a completely different approach: stop looking for results and, instead, rest in the assurance that everything has already been taken care of. This isn't about being passive or lazy. It's about stepping into a place of absolute trust. Trust that the universe is already responding to the state of mind you've adopted. You don't need to keep checking in with it or worry about how or when things will show up. You simply know it's done, and you can relax into that certainty. It's a bit like planting a seed. You don't plant a seed and then dig it up every 5 minutes to check if it's growing. That would be ridiculous, right? You plant it, water it, and then you allow nature to take care of the rest. In the same way, when you set your intention or assume the state of having, you can't be obsessively pulling at it, trying to make it happen faster. The energy you put into worrying about it is the very thing that holds it back. But when you rest in the certainty that it's already done, you give space for it to unfold naturally. You trust the process. It's interesting because we're often conditioned to focus on what we can see and measure. We're taught to wait for external signs that things are moving forward. But Goddard's approach invites you to go deeper than what's visible. The real work happens in the unseen realm of your thoughts and feelings. That's where the transformation begins. So, when you stop constantly looking for results, you're essentially pulling your attention away from what's not yet materialized and focusing in on the inner certainty that it's already yours. Here's the thing about this certainty: it's not a vague hope or wish. It's a deep, inner knowing. You don't need to explain it or justify it. You just know. It's the feeling of already having what you desire, and when you truly adopt that feeling, everything begins to align with it. You don't have to understand how, or when, or where it's coming from. You don't have to worry if it's happening or not. The fact that it's already done becomes your only focus. You know what's funny? The more you rest in that certainty, the more the universe starts to match that energy. It's as if the very act of trusting in the unseen causes the physical world to catch up. And the best part? You don't have to keep questioning it. No more wondering if things are going to work out. No more checking to see if things are moving in your direction. You just rest in the knowing that they already are. This isn't to say you should be passive or disengaged. It's not about sitting back and doing nothing. Rather, it's about actively stepping into a place of assurance rather than anxiety. Instead of living in a constant state of seeking or waiting, you live as though everything has already arrived. When you're in this state of certainty, your actions align with that belief, and you begin to take inspired steps that reflect your inner confidence. In summary, stop looking for results. Stop checking in with your desires every minute, wondering if they're coming true. Instead, rest in the peace that comes from knowing it's already done. The moment you do that, you shift from a state of lack and waiting to a state of abundant trust. And that shift is exactly what allows your desires to manifest. That's all for today, Modern Stoics. Remember, the key to manifesting your desires is to stop trying to get them and simply align with the reality where they already exist. Trust the process, and let go of the need to chase after what's meant for you. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into creating the life you truly deserve. Leave a comment below and let me know how you're shifting your mindset. Until next time, stay confident, stay patient, and keep manifesting from within.